You're listening to episode 16 of Actionable Insights. I'm your host, Joseph Maxwell, and as always, I am very excited about the content that we're bringing you today here. My guest is Emily Sloan from Benchmade. If you've not heard of the brand name Benchmade, they are a knife manufacturer made in the USA, beautiful knives. What I wanted to talk to her about today, though, is their journey from analog to digital. As some would call it in jargon terms, their digital transformation. This transformation has been quite exquisite. So they started back in 1987, over 30 years ago, and now have completely pivoted into this digital space. And from my perspective, they've done it right. You know, after all, like it's one thing to invest money in making a transition or making even a half-hearted transition. Hey, we're embracing digital, but we're not really willing to invest what it takes or figure out, put all the brain power into what it takes to get there. But Benchmade has done that. And Emily's going to walk us through some of the ideas, some of the methodologies that they took in order to make this successful. So I hope you enjoy this opportunity to listen to what she has learned through this process of the past 4 or 5 years and their investment in this transformation. As always, this podcast is found on iTunes and Google and a whole bunch of other places as well. I hope you take the opportunity to listen on your favorite channel or go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel there because this will be published as a video. Except for one thing, and I need to mention that, is somehow the video of myself did not get recorded. So you will see a static picture of my face if you are watching this on YouTube. And I hope you don't mind that. It probably looks better than I do look actually in person, as you are seeing right here, because this video did get recorded. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's hear what Emily has to say. I am super excited to have Emily Sloan at Benchmade here with us. She is the senior manager of digital here. Basically, she works on everything website, and she's done an incredible job with transforming Benchmade. And that's why I'm super excited to talk about some of this stuff. To set the stage here, she is a finalist for the Adobe Experience Maker Award in the Mastermind category. I mean, that's pretty incredible. So maybe, Emily, you want to share what you do at Benchmade and maybe some of your favorite aspects of that work?
Yeah. Thank you. The Adobe nomination was huge. I know there were over 350 qualifying websites for that. So super pumped of the work that you're doing.
That's great.
Very excited. So at Benchmade, I really oversee anything that lives online is kind of how I put it. So our direct-to-consumer website, our business-to-business web portal, social media, blog, ambassadors, email marketing, SEO, you name it, my team manages it. So I really enjoy just like blending that content and commerce and making sure consumers have the optimized consumer journey to hopefully make that purchase and then start that lifelong journey with Benchmade. That
makes sense. That is really cool. Let's talk a little bit about Benchmade. I was first introduced to it last year. My brother is big time into knives. I'm very much a lay person in that category. And I was shopping for a Christmas gift, came across Benchmade, and it literally made his Christmas. So I came to see through, and that was the beginning of my journey with Benchmade. And I came to see that Benchmade is kind of you might say a brand apart. It's different in that way because there's a ton of knives. Like it's not that hard to make a knife, something that cuts something, but Benchmade is different. So let's talk about what is so special about Benchmade to help everybody and get kind of the same understanding here. And then maybe talk about this transition then into digital, starting from when you guys started back in, was it 1990? And transitioning now into the digital era of 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. So Benchmade is definitely the premium knife brand in the space. Been in business over 30 years. Les de Asis is a legend in the knife community, and he really started that by bringing his Filipino heritage with butterfly knives to the U.S. and kind of producing those. And then that really transitioned into quality and commitment. Les had a previous business that he filed for bankruptcy, and he said, I will never again lose control over my quality or production of my products. And so 100% of Benchmade knives are made right here in Oregon City, Oregon, with local manufacturers as well if we need to get some steel or some handle parts. So really that commitment to quality, and then our Life Sharp services, you can send in that knife for the life that you own it. We will sharpen it and service it for free and send it back to you in a couple weeks.
Wow. Someone who's learning from their lessons. That's great. I mean, it's and again, made in USA. There is a, I guess, let me just ask you this. Because obviously, again, knives are made all over the world. Anybody could make something that cuts something, right? I mean, it's possible. So, because I know you guys do leverage you made in USA. If I remember correctly, it's on your boxes and everything. It's like I think it's a flag, if I remember correctly. So how does that work? Is you're able to make that connection, especially here in the States, with people that this is made here in our home country?
Yeah. So, when people start at Benchmade and we kind of made in USA, they don't necessarily always get it until they see our facility. So we really try to blend for our consumer, like, what does a day in a life look like? Who are the people making your knives? And so it's not just the materials, the steel we source is USA made, but then we have local people making those knives every single day. And we bring people into that world. You can come to our factory store. We're not in COVID times. And you can get a nice view of what we do. And so bringing that craftsmanship and that loyalty into every knife we make, I mean, people just love it. And it spans generations.
Exactly. And what I hear you said, and that was such a key word there, the people who make it. And obviously one could document the people who make it all over. And then I very specifically remember that on the Benchmade website, how you have faces there. And I think like you have the designers' faces. I don't think necessarily everyone that works in the factory, but you have the faces on the website, and it's that personal connection whereby people say, this is another human being. I'm buying this person's creation, and obviously as it is made in the great state of Oregon, and this resonates. This is things I can relate to. Hey, I've driven through Oregon myself, that sort of thing. So, and I think that all ties together.
Yeah. And we've really we partner with a lot of custom knife builders, and we elevate them as well. And so it's not just, always about Benchmade, but bringing those who are partners along the journey with us. So that's on the Benchmade side. And then, like I said, we've been in business for 30 years. So I can talk about a little bit how we branched into digital.
Please. Yes, that'd be great.
Cool. Yeah. So, about 4 or 5 years now, Benchmade had a website, kind of just like everyone else. It was, hey, we need a website. Let's do that. And that was working fine and well. But Benchmade really keyed into the trends of digital and like, why do we need a website? Why do we need social? Why do we need all of this to blend together? Whereas if you know the knife industry or the shooting sports industry, we're a little bit behind on trends. We don't always like to jump in.
Yes.
So
that makes sense.
Kudos to the Benchmade ownership to say, like, let's invest in digital. So what we really did is we took a look at our digital footprint. We did a digital audit. Like, where are we at on this digital maturity scale? Where are competitors? Where are dealers? Ranked ourselves, sat down, wrote up that strategy, and then said, how do we bring all of our channels along that journey? So it's not just our direct-to-consumer website, which is obviously very important to us and our brand, but it's also our B2B portal. And then everything that goes along with this. How do we integrate social? How do we integrate our blog? Personalization through the website that ultimately, builds that one-to-one connection with the consumer and drives conversion. Exactly.
And I love talking with companies who they have even recently worked through this transition, because it's one thing to be behind the times, and it's another thing to accept that, hey, this industry is just behind the times. It is what it is. But the trendsetters are the ones who I especially love talking to, and Benchmade definitely classifies as that, because you saw that, hey, look, we might be behind the times of like across other industries, but we have to see this as an opportunity to take it forward and to continue that quality that, obviously the product that you sell is quality, but then to extend that into the digital space as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we were building it out, we actually said, the person can't hold this in their hand, but it should still feel like it's going to cut them. And that's how we want to build our website. Like, we want to build that same quality.
That's great. That's how it should be. And so as a story of, call it digital transformation, I know this is a buzzword jargon that's thrown around all the time. And the question is like, what is it? And I pulled up a definition, and I think it pretty accurately defines is what we're talking about. So the definition is, in that I loaded up here, is digital transformation closes the gap between what digital customers already expect and what analog businesses actually deliver. And I think that sums it up so well, because customers expect something. Hey, I can go to the website, it's going to look good. It's going to allow me to find this knife, find this product that I'm looking for. But at the same time, obviously Benchmade started in 1990. That wasn't necessarily what was even going on back then. But you've transformed into be able to meet those customer expectations. And so I guess let's talk about some of these steps that you all have taken in this journey. Again, I think over the past 4 to 5 years, which is not that long of amount of time, but you guys have taken a lot of steps in that time. So maybe we can start out talking about the platform itself. And I think you guys are on the Magento platform. And what led you to choose that as the platform of choice?
Yeah, I've been asked this quite a bit recently. There's a ton of platform choices out there. They're all making strides right now.
Yep.
But for Benchmade, we were on Magento 1, and at the time, most companies set out on a digital transformation. Benchmade didn't so much at first. They knew they needed to invest, but they weren't like, oh, let's go through this digital transformation. They said, let's re-platform our B2B site. So we quickly realized that that just wasn't going to do it. We actually needed to pause, develop a strategy, select our technology stack, which is super important. I mean, that's what enables you to deliver.
Yes.
And then select. So we went through an analysis of which e-commerce platform. We contacted people in our industry, outside of our industry, and ultimately landed on Magento 2. I mean, they spent some time really developing their B2B side of it. The D2C was great. Now they're owned by Adobe, so that content management is really just going to increase. And then they added some security features, which we know M1 didn't have, and it was lacking, but that security and platform as a service really sealed it for us.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I think, Magento is a powerful platform, but I'm glad to hear that you went through that process of saying, is this really the right one for us? Because, software is always maturing, and it's good to, one's making a significant investment by saying, hey, Magento is the platform, or whatever platform, BigCommerce, Shopify, whatever one would choose to go with. But doing that initial research is really important.
Yeah, I think something we said when we set out on this journey was, we don't know everything about what we're going to do in the future, but if we enable this, or if we choose this technology, will it disable us from doing something in the future? And if the answer was yes, that we would have to make major changes, it just wasn't the right technology for us. So I think it's a good step. Yeah,
absolutely. That's good. Let's talk about conversion optimization, simply because that seems like one of the big parts of building a website, right? I mean, we want to get visitors to the website. We want more of them to want to click that purchase button on the products that we're showing them. And so, obviously, as part of the migrating to Magento 2, I'm guessing you had some of those considerations. These things are important to us. As well, I'm guessing you have things that you are working to implement going forward, utilizing Magento features even, or other A/B testing platforms. So can you talk to us about your journey thus far in that area, and then talk about maybe where you're headed as far as increasing conversion rate, the conversion rate on the website?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. When we went through the re-platform, conversion was huge for us. We need to figure out how to actually make it important for us to convert on the website, because we came from that dealer, business model, brick and mortar. It was like, okay, now we need to focus on converting people online. So simplifying our website. I mean, people like choice, but they like choice that's easy. And so making our top nav super intuitive. And then once you got to our product pages, simplifying that process so it was visual, but it also had the description. We have people that are buying for gifts, much like yourself, and then we have people that know every knife steel and exactly what it does. So we needed to really blend those two, right? So we did that with our first round of PDPs. We're going into a second round of product design pages for optimization on conversion. And we'll go into A/B testing, and Magento has a great out-of-the-box tool for that. And so our team is extremely lean. We really needed to build that foundation first.
Yes.
Converting people, right, with what we had.
Yes.
Now we're going to go into A/B testing, like things like, should your reviews go right underneath the images, or should they go under all of the content? If I have a one-click buy, are people actually doing that, or do I need to advertise how to activate one-click buy? Right. So really, just continuing down that, and then conversion through personalization. So can we help you find the product you're looking for without you having to click around our website? There's lots of tools to do that. They use them a lot in the running world. You're going to be running inside, outside. So looking to go down those paths here in the future.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. It's tough, like, especially seeing, and I like how you called out, you have the lay people like me, who's just really pretty clueless about, it's a knife. It looks good to me. I mean, it looks like a great knife, but, educating, okay, here's why Benchmade is like top of the line, but also then you have the people who are looking for that really fine print. So how you balance that, I think that's, and it's great to hear that you're going through multiple revisions on that, because, it's kind of a constant thing there. So, let's talk about feedback mechanism. So I like to talk about this with merchants simply because there's so much. Well, selling online is difficult, I think, as you well know, because I had a conversation with somebody a little while back, and they said selling online is like selling from your closet. Like you don't have these face-to-face conversations. Like, again, like even what we're having here, it's not even this personal, like in an actual, like a video conversation. So how do you hear what the customer is saying? Okay, they go to this page on the website. Wow, I wish this had this feature, or this knife had this feature. Or what kind of process do you have for hearing back from the customer and then ultimately taking action on that and fixing that page, or improving this part of the website, or adding, I don't know, a better product photo, or whatever this need is that the customer is describing?
Right. Well, you mentioned, we don't even have video yet. I'm sure that's coming as we're in these COVID times, right? So right now,
for sure.
I think right now we use a variety of tools. Online chat is one of them. So we're getting ready to do an always on. And a lot of companies use bots, and those are great, right? They get a lot of the questions answered, but we are also going to have online experts. So I think that helps. But actually hearing the customer voice, we use, your traditional analytics tools, but we also use our NPS score. So we have that on multiple areas. We have it on our warranty and LifeSharp emails, but we also have it on site through our heat mapping tool. So we know what our NPS score is. We know some of the feedback we're getting there. And then coupling that with the heat mapping tool, if you're familiar with it, right, you can record sessions. Absolutely. You can see what people are clicking. So that's all of its consumer feedback. And then we take it a step further, and we use Meltwater. It's a brand sentiment tool. So it tracks themes, but it'll also track specific comments. And we utilize those comments to drive change, both at our product level, but also our website level. I will tell you, customers will write in and they will tell you what's wrong with your website.
For sure.
And they're like, so they're pretty descriptive. And it's great if you don't have those tools in place where you can get that feedback, customer lifetime value is for sure going to drop.
Absolutely. That's great. What is your preferred source for the heat mapping or the session recording? What do you like to use for that?
Yeah, we use Hotjar. We love it. We've used it for a couple of years.
That's great. Seems like Hotjar and Full Story are the two that are the most used, and they're great. They are absolutely great tools. That's good.
Yep.
That's good. Let's talk about kind of an interesting subject here, because I think you kind of blend B2B and B2C in that way. And I mean, both of those, many businesses are either one or the other, but Benchmade, you're kind of both in that you have this dealer network. So how you support your dealers, but also, provide the opportunity for somebody to be able to purchase a knife through your website. Can you talk about some of like what you've done to support both of those avenues of building Benchmade?
Yeah, absolutely. We are certainly a B2B and a D2C company for sure. And we not only do we have different strategies for both of the websites, but we have one that blends and kind of reduces that channel conflict, and that's called Credit My Dealer.
Okay.
This is not my idea, so I can't take credit for it, but we have created a program where consumers can shop online, and we have all of our products online. We also have our 3D customizer and our 2D customizer. So essentially it's a differentiator from the website. Our dealers don't get to use it. The dealer or the customer can go through, and when they are finalizing their purchase, they can select a dealer, give them credit. So I shop at, my local Cabela's, that's a bad example. I shop at my local knife store, and they don't have the knife I want. I can select them, they get credit for it, and every single consumer can essentially do that. This really reduces that channel conflict. So if there's some reason we're out of stock or anything like that, go ahead, give that dealer the credit. The dealer gets to utilize that to inventory their store in the future, and it's a very symbiotic relationship. The other two key areas of that are dealers can also place that order. So it's like, hey, I don't have this in stock today, but I can go ahead and place this order. They can give themselves the credit. Customer has the product within, 3 days.
That's great.
Where this worked out well, COVID. So we created a campaign for that. Most retailers had to figure out how to support their dealers, and Benchmade, it was already plug and play.
Wow. That's brilliant. And again, because it's just, I think dealers could often, I've worked with some other people and that's been some of the challenge they've run into is like, do we support the company or the dealer? And I think you guys have done an incredible job with this Credit My Dealer and how you've merged that together, as well as being able to, it kind of then helped through this whole COVID thing. So that's, I would say that is nothing short of brilliant. So it's just really cool to hear.
When you put the customer first, I've said this a few times now, when you put the customer experience first, you shouldn't have to exclude channels because customers are going to want to shop at a variety of places. So it should be easy to think through solutions. I think we just make it difficult.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I would agree with you there for sure. And when we're talking about this, when we're having this, talk about what we're going to talk about now. We talked about you mentioned some tools, some things that you're building in and have built into Benchmade.com, things that enhance that customer experience, things that maybe even a dealer couldn't do, even if they wanted to. I mean, it's a lot of effort, a lot of work, and it's not necessarily tactile. You're not holding this product, this knife in your hand. So, but you've also, I think, bridged the gap in that way, in that way, simply for those people that can't actually go hold a knife in their hand, that sort of thing. So let's talk about what you have built out, and it's some really creative solutions for this on Benchmade.com website.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have always offered laser marking on our products and customization. But if I start with the laser marking, it was very antiquated. You could purchase your knife. You had to fill out a form, and we would guess where you wanted this laser marking on your knife. Not optimal. But when we switched to Magento 2, we redesigned that 2D laser marking. So now consumers can place their personal images, stock images, text, etc. on that knife where they want it, and they can see what that finalized product will look like, which is huge when you're personalizing something. Often companies don't, take returns on those. And then
which makes upset customers.
Yes, yeah. So really making sure that we were optimizing for the customer, and then we've taken that a step further. So we have a 3D knife builder on our website. We take our most popular products and you can personalize them. I mean, you can personalize the handles, the blades, the color. You can put patterns on their images. It is phenomenal, and it's a 3D experience. Yeah, and you use that for your brother?
No, I didn't use it for my brother, but after we talked, I had gone and looked through that because we specifically mentioned that. I was like, wow, this is incredible, because it's not only just like, you could drop images and assemble images, right? But it's 3D. Like, you get to see the whole thing as it spins around in any different angle, whatever configuration you want, right? I mean, it's incredible.
And the permutations are endless.
Yeah.
We've also done a good job, just like you can see like the threads in the carbon fiber, which is huge for consumers, right? Mm-hmm. So that's been great. Some of those custom products actually outsell their inline by 90%. Wow. So huge conversion driver for us. Like I said, we're utilizing chat. And then it's how do we take that further? How do we take that personalization further in the site? And we know that personalization drives conversion. So it's really saying, if I were going to be in a retail store, what questions would I ask the consumer to get them to the knife that they need? We're going to bring that experience online here in the future, which is super exciting.
Kind of like a knife finder, that sort of thing.
Yep, that sort of thing. It'll be awesome. Good. So you don't, we always say like Aunt Janet never has to guess which knife she needs for her nephew. She'll be able to answer some questions and figure it out. Good.
And again, it's bridging that gap, like that customer, helping them find what they want. And then again, I'm still stuck back on that custom 3D builder. It's brilliant. And not only does it look good, but it's well designed, easy to use, and kind of all of that stuff, I think, creates this whole suite of tools to help somebody that when they can't see this knife in their hand, it's all but holding it or getting cut on if you do something stupid, it's all but holding it literally in your hand. When you see it on your screen, you can turn it around, and then obviously as you're building out this knife finder, seeing exactly how the laser engraving, it's a great package for being able to help customers get to the product that they want quickly.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about.
That's great. And I think that kind of goes into, we're talking about this disadvantage of selling online in the customers cannot actually pick up that knife. They cannot test and see how sharp that blade is, but all that I think helps overcome that. Is there anything else that you do to help incentivize online purchases? And again, because I think there's probably some level of helping somebody quickly come to this decision, because if they don't quickly come to it, there's a chance they might go to a competitor or find some other product somewhere else to go purchase. So maybe, just can you walk me through how you present even the value proposition that Benchmade has to customers to help them quickly understand what Benchmade offers?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, through our website, we always want to drive that quality and lifetime relationship first. So we tend to do that by blending our commerce and content together, like I keep mentioning. But then we really take it a step further. So I think I said this to you in our conversation, like a lot of people talk about digital transformations, and we're such creative thinkers. We talk about the front end, right. But the back end is just as important. And so Benchmade really looked at what would it take to reimagine what an omni-channel business looks like with a digital focus, right? Because we can't just say digital focus. We have those dealers out there. Right. And so, we have to. So we said, you know what? If we think about this through the customer lens, what do we need to do? We need to be as close to Amazon as possible in delivering products. So we need to make sure we have product always in stock on the website, and we need to ship it out within 2 days. And if we don't, then we need to communicate that to the consumer. Just another reason we selected Magento is they do allow individual SKU inventory and then order management when we get down that path in our digital journey. So I think all of those together really helps the customer gain confidence in the product they're purchasing.
Yes, again, fast shipping, all that stuff. Yep, making sure products are always in stock. That's really good. This has been excellent, Emily. I've loved hearing your thoughts and what you've learned. I guess one thing, just to kind of turn this around to everybody who's listening to this, what would you see, what do you see as the number one opportunity that online stores are missing out on? If they were to implement this tomorrow, they're going to see results.
The number one thing I would say, I have two. I'm going to say two.
That's fine.
Make sure your navigation is clear and concise for what you want people to do. I think that we get in this land of driving people to I need all my options at once. No, you just need them to make that next decision towards purchasing. So I'd say that's number one. And then two, look at your PDPs, make sure your content and commerce is blending and that you can shop on every single page of your website. And when customers get stuck, turn on that online chat. Online chat will increase your conversion by 40% is awesome. This industry standard. Yeah.
100%. I totally agree, Emily. This this is outstanding. And really good advice all across the board. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your feedback, your knowledge, and your experiences, and definitely congratulations on your being a finalist. I think all of that, being a finalist for the Adobe Experience Makers, I think all of that kind of comes together just to prove how the value that you have created for Benchmade, the value that Benchmade has created for not only as customers, but also as dealers, and being able to leverage all of those relationships. And I have nothing but tremendous respect for you and the Benchmade brand. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'll come back anytime.
All right. What a great session. What a great topic. Working through how Benchmade has been moving online. I'm particularly inspired by that. And again, listening to how they took this approach. It wasn't just, okay, we're going to go to Magento 2. Well, we were on Magento 1. We're going to go to Magento 2 now. But no, instead they said, okay, what is the right platform for us? Okay. Now, based off of this right platform, how can we best utilize it, take advantage of all the features that are available to us, but also how can we support every one of our relationships? And I have seen this happen before where a manufacturer thinks that, wow, direct to consumer is going to be the thing. It's going to make us a whole bunch of money. And yet, well, and as a result, they cannibalize their dealers. Well, Benchmade's not doing it like that. They are embracing all of their relationships. And it's really exciting to see how they are capitalizing on the value that a website brings, but also how they can bring value to dealers, both at the same time. And sometimes it seems like there's these things that are one or the other, but it's the creative approaches of figuring out how to make everything win comes out as the true winner. So again, this has been a great interview. I hope that you have enjoyed listening to it. If you did enjoy this interview, it would make my day. It would really be wonderful if you would write a review there on whatever your favorite syndication platform is, Apple or Spotify or Google or wherever it is, and write a 5-star review. That would be super, super awesome. So hope you have had a wonderful day listening to this. Hope it's inspired you for change, for action for tomorrow. Look forward to next time. We're going to bring you another great episode of incredible content.